The WNBA released its season schedule without a new CBA. And the schedule comes with an asterisk. The season tips off May 8th if a new CBA is reached. That's not just awkward timing, that's a signal. Because the league is trying to project business as usual while negotiating a future it has not agreed to. I'm Lorraine, your favorite lawyer, and this is the Rapid Rundown. Today's episode is how player pressure is forcing a structural reckoning in the WNBA. Now, let's start from the beginning. This story doesn't start with the schedule. We gotta go back. It starts in the playoffs when Nafisa Collier publicly criticized Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA leadership as the worst leadership in the world, accusing the league of being negligent in its governance. What made that moment different wasn't frustration, it was credibility. Once leadership legitimacy is questioned publicly, the league doesn't just face criticism, it faces operational exposure. And Collier wasn't isolated. Multiple players backed her up publicly, and that's when criticism moved from a player speaking out to a broader leadership conversation the league just couldn't contain. Then something even more consequential began to happen. Owners started speaking out, not just fans or players. ESPN pulled insiders and reported a shift inside ownership circles. One owner said, and I quote, "If I had a vote, I would probably ask for a replacement," referring to Engelbert. Another said, firing her mid-negotiation would be admitting weakness. That is massive. Because when owners begin criticizing leadership publicly, the question isn't, is the commissioner popular? The question becomes, is the league governable under this level of scrutiny? And that is where the buyback conversation starts making sense. Before we get to the buyback, let's talk about the schedule release, because this isn't just about dates. One of the term of the league's proposal, which was tied to that headline concept of $1 million max salaries, was an expanded season going from 44 games to 50 or 54 games. That matters because the pitch wasn't simply pay the players more. It was pay players more and increase labor. But now, the league releases a schedule that reflects the current structure and does so with no publicly known counteroffer since December. So the scheduling isn't neutral, it's messaging. It raises the question, is the league projecting stability or quietly signaling that the negotiations are nowhere near resolved? I happen to think it's the latter, but what do I know? In the middle of all this, league sources say that the WNBA is exploring buying back 16% of its own equity, the stake that it sold in 2022. Engelbert sold 16% for $75 million, which fixed league valuation at around $475 million. At the time, it looked fine, but today, that number is basically the value of one franchise, the New York Liberty, and expansion fees are around $250 million just to enter the league. That doesn't mean that the 2022 deal was reckless, it just means that the deal aged fast, and under pressure, governance friction becomes intolerable, especially if leadership credibility is already in question. In other words, this doesn't make Engelbert look any better. And here's the part that tells you how serious player preparedness is. So Natasha Cloud said on the Be Great Academy podcast, and I'm quoting directly, "I know Unrivaled is prepared in so many different instances, and the biggest one being that we own the space we play in." She continued, "We could stay here, train, play, put on another season if need be. That is not a threat. That's a credible outside option, spoken out loud." And this is the deeper story. WNBA players have expanded what leverage looks like. It's credibility, visibility, and now preparedness. And it forces structural decisions, ownership, governance, and how the league can operate under public scrutiny. And this is what makes this so fascinating in real time, at least to me. Now, if you want the shorter breakdown, I have a quick 5 coming up next, which is 5 ways the WNBPA has been more prepared than the league in these negotiations. If you learned something, share this with somebody who's still asking about what's going on with the WNBA, or who's maybe just asking why the heck did they release the schedule and we don't got no CBA. I'll see you very soon.